All right, Chuck, thank you very much. Over $32,000 in prize winnings, $10,000 to the winner. And let's meet your drivers. We got some new names and some regular names, and just glad to have them all here at Langley. And let's kick it off here. Back there in the 12th row, starting 23rd, driver number 83 from Yorktown, Jeremy Grogg. From Chesapeake, Virginia, he will start 22nd. He drives number 67. Please welcome J.T. Jackson. From Moyock, North Carolina, he drives the 01 machine, Jeff Shiflett. To the inside of row number 10, or the outside, you got Mechanicsville driver and son of Eddie Johnson, Chris Johnson in 36. From Yorktown, Virginia, he drives number 61. He will start the race in 19th, Kevin Cunningham. To the outside of row number 9 and 18th position from Williamsburg, Terry Carroll in the 90. From Midlothian, Virginia, no stranger to Langley Speedway, number 57, Eddie Johnson. From Chesapeake, Virginia, he drives number 38. Please welcome Dwayne Shreves. From Newport News, driver of car number 29, Casey Wyatt. He starts 14th from Danville, Virginia. He's subbing for Mark Wirtz in the 55, Peyton Sellers. From Charborough, North Carolina, number 12, starting 13th, welcome back, Dean Shiflett. From Newport News, Virginia, he starts 12th on the outside of row number 6, number 20, Gary Weeks. From Chester, Virginia, he drives the 95. He's got to win this year, Shane Lockhart. To the outside of row number 5 in the 10th position, from Sutherland, Virginia, Brandon Butler. From Prince George, Virginia, he starts 9th. To the inside of row number 5, the 16, Jeff Oakley. In position number 8, from Virginia Beach, Virginia, he's also got to win this year, number 41, Wesley Falk. 5-time Langley Speedway track champion from Poquoson, Virginia, driver the number 26, Danny Edwards Jr. In 6th position from Hampton, Virginia, number 10, he's won one of these races before, Nick Smith. He starts in 5th. Good to have him back, that number 34 Sears Sand and Gravel machine, Paul DeBolt. Starting 4th from North Carolina, please welcome back to Langley Speedway, number 33, Kenny Forbes. Also another face that we're glad to see back here at Langley Speedway from Ridgeway, Virginia, number 88, Matt Bowling. On the outside front row, he's won the last 2 Hampton heats. He is from Virginia Beach, number 40, Langley Speedway track champion, C.E. Falk. And on the pole, he's had those feathers flapping this year. From Poquoson, Virginia, driver the 97.3, the Eagle car, on the pole, Greg Edwards. Hey, Greg, hold up. Special awards for Greg.
Thank you very much, Mike. Before we let him meet our special guest here, a fast qualifying run for this guy. He's done it all year long, and our thanks to a very good sponsor. Carroll's Racing Products will present Greg Edwards with a check for $500, in addition to his chance to win $10,000 here as the fastest qualifier in the Carroll's Racing Products Pole Award for the Hampton Heat. Greg, meet our guest. Danny, thank you very much, Carroll's Racing Product.
Greg of Poquoson, 2 track championships. Danny's Glass, CBX Modular Homes, Browers Mechanical, Crossroads Fuel, NC Realty, RaceWrap.com. On his Chevrolet, the 97.3, the Eagle car. Greg with 2 wins that he got at the hands of C.E. Falk for C.E.'s 2 disqualifications that he had back in May. In a 16.238, Greg Edwards will take the pole away from C.E. Falk with that qualifying lap. 16:2:38. (16:2:26).
Did somebody take the green flag? We don't have a green flag. Did someone take that? Did somebody maybe just thought that they were going to take a picture? You can't start a race without a green flag. Do we have? Okay, we can't start the race. Oh, you know what? Where's Skip at? Skip, we're Nightingale, the Nightingale folks. Maybe they can help me out. Look here. I got a little problem. I got all these guests here, Skip, and Denise and all the gals and guys and gals from, of course, Nightingale. We don't have a green flag. Can you help us out?
I don't know. Where do you get it from?
I don't know. There's got to be like a NASCAR flag shop somewhere up in Hampton.
Like a special flag or something?
Right. It's a special green flag. We need a special green flag. Can you help me out?
All right. Let me see what I can do. Give me a minute.
Okay. Skip's working. Shane, I'm sorry. I didn't know somebody would take your flag, but we're going to – I'm sorry. Lightning or –
Well, that's heat lightning, Chuck. Nothing to worry about there.
Okay. What are you talking about, Mike? You see like a UFO or something? What are you talking about in the sky?
I think it's a helicopter, Chuck.
Wait a minute. I do see something up in the air there, Mike. What are you talking about? That right there, the little flashy light, red light thing? Ladies and gentlemen, here comes your green flag. Compliments of Nightingale. Let's give it up for them as they fly into turn 3. They're actually going to land, and we want to thank all the emergency personnel over in turn 3, great workers from the city of Hampton, EMS firefighters that will make sure that they safely secure. Green flag will be brought to the flag stand. So, Shane, there is your green flag. This is a special flag, Mike. Every time the flag is used tonight, NASCAR will donate 10 trees for every time it's thrown, up to 100 trees for the city of Hampton to be planted in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, a touchdown almost. Here we go. Welcome, Nightingale, right there. Man, I tell you what, Skip, great job, Nightingale. And they do a lot of great things for the Hampton and the entire Hampton Roads area.
Yeah. So we've got a green flag. We can go racing.
And we appreciate all your help in setting this, Skip, and the entire crew, and Denise. Nightingale, here comes your green flag, and right behind that, once we hand it to it, Shane up there, that young man right there is going to start these cars up. Guess what? It's the 5th annual Hampton Heat 200. Where's that green flag? Here it comes. NASCAR green flag. Every time it's flown, 10 trees will be donated to the city of Hampton, and it will be planted at the cost of NASCAR. There you go. Charlie Daniels, everybody. Charlie, thank you very much, buddy. Well, if you would, I can't reach. One of you guys hand that up to my flag man there. All right. Here it goes. We got it. Hampton Heat 200, Nightingale in the background. Give us the words we've been waiting for.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
It's rock and roll time. Here we go. Our thanks to all of our friends from the city of Hampton. Nightingale in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy it with the call topside. Here's Mike Allen.
All right, we've been waiting for it all year long. The Hampton Heat 200 as the Nightingale flies away. And we're about to get that in one lap when they turn them loose. And they will all line up side by side. The adrenaline about to flow through the veins of all these drivers as we are set to get underway for the 5th annual Hampton Heat 200 at Langley Speedway. The second stop on the Triple Crown. You, the race fans, are the reason we do this every Saturday night at Langley Speedway. Once again, we thank you. Drivers are set. Fans are set. Pace truck is in. Shane Snyder with a green flag in the breeze. We're underway for the 2012 Hampton Heat 200 at Langley Speedway. Greg Edwards down low. C.E. Falk on the high side. Greg trying to get the lead and keep it. First lap about to be completed. Can we get through it without any incident? It looks like we can. Some of the best drivers on the East Coast and the Mid-Atlantic here at Langley Speedway. Here goes the 88, Matt Bowling down on the inside of C.E. Falk for that second position as we have one lap completed. Greg Edwards about 3 car lengths ahead of the side-by-side battle for second. Still racing door to door, number to number on the back straightaway. The 88 down low. Matt Bowling doing all he can to make the pass on 3-time Langley Speedway champion C.E. Falk. Peyton Sellers a little bit further back, racing with Casey Wyatt on the outside of Casey. Casey taking that position away. C.E. Falk goes back to third spot as Matt Bowling makes the pass. He's in the second position. The 95 of Shane Lockhart and the 57 Eddie Johnson had to go to the rear of the field due to an unapproved change after qualified. C.E. Falk able to get back by Matt Bowling in the 88. Kenny Forbes is there in fourth position. Nick Smith in fifth in car 10. Kenny Forbes once again dives on the 88, trying to get low but can't make the move. Greg Edwards about 5 to 6 car lengths ahead of C.E. Falk now as he got racing with the 88 of Matt Bowling. Matt was able to get by, but C.E. able to nudge him out of the way and get back past him for that second spot. So after 6 laps, it's Greg Edwards, C.E. Falk, Matt Bowling, Kenny Forbes, Nick Smith, the top 5. Then Paul DeVolt, Wesley Falk, Danny Edwards, Brandon Butler, and Jeff Oakley. Dean Schiffler, 11th. Gary Weeks, 12th. Casey Wyatt, 13th. Gary Carroll, 14th. Peyton Sellers in 15th in the 55. Followed by Dwayne Streves, Jeff Shiflett, Shane Lockhart, Kevin Cunningham, Chris Johnson, Eddie Johnson, J.T. Jackson, and Jeremy Grogg in the 83. C.E. Falk looks like he's closing in on Greg within about 2.5 car lengths. And we have a caution flag out. No, we don't. Thought we did. We got one showing up on the screen here. We've got 9 laps completed. Greg Edwards, C.E. Falk, Matt Bowling, Kenny Forbes, Nick Smith, the top 5 as C.E. closes in on Greg in the 97. Casey Wyatt falling back a little bit in car 29, a little bit off the pace there. Followed back to the rear of the field. Meanwhile, the battle rages on between the 97 and the 40. C.E. Falk, it's been this way all year long between these two drivers. Greg leads the points over C.E. 12 laps completed. Once again, the battle up front. C.E. Falk makes the pass on Greg Edwards, the 88. Matt Bowling back to the third spot. "13 laps completed. This is a long race. Greg Edwards staying right with C.E. Falk for the lead. The 40, the 97 up front. Easy Auto and Newport News sponsoring the late model division. A big crash in turn number 3. And it looks like it is the 38 of Dwayne Streves who's got into the wall in turn number 3 to bring out the first caution flag here on lap 14. Dwayne Streves in 38. And there is Dwayne Streves making his way into his pit area. He has a lot of damage where he got into the wall. W.T. Boyd on the back, and that back end smashed up a little bit, as well as the left side. Casey's up there in the points too. He's third in points behind Wesley Falk, who has taken over the second spot behind Greg Edwards in points.
Went down into 3, and next thing I know, the brakes locked or something, and the car looped around. I mean, it was running really good.
All right, well, glad you're okay. Dwayne Streves is out and looks very unlikely to return. Also, an update on Peyton Sellers. He was too tight, needed to loosen the car up just a little bit, and he's back out on the racetrack.
20 laps completed here at Langley Speedway, and we're just about set to turn them loose again. Some of the cars that chose to use the cone on the outside include the 10 of Nick Smith, St. Leo University cone. He's going to be right up there next to CE Falk. This is going to put Greg Edwards right on the back bumper of CE as we're about to go back to green. And quite a few cars use the cone rule to their advantage to go to the outside behind CE. And we're back underway as the green flag flies on lap 20. Greg Edwards gets by Nick Smith, who drops back a little bit on the outside. Casey Wyatt's car continues to sit on pit road with a problem on the 29. Meanwhile, we're back underway. Bumping and banging a little bit there between 3 and 4 to spin. JT Jackson spins around, keeps it off the wall. And the caution flag is coming out again here on lap 22 for a spin by JT Jackson. Luckily, he did not tag the wall, and he looks like he's going to be okay. Once again, Chris Johnson, his 36 automobile comes down to the attention of his crew as we have 1 lap to go until the green flag will fly again for the Hampton Heat 200 at Langley Speedway, with the 36 looks like getting his lap back, but then he came back into the pits, and the crew is checking on the front end of that automobile. Something doesn't feel right with Chris Johnson, and his crew continues to work on that automobile and getting back out. All right, 40. CE Falk just ahead of the 97.3, the Eagle car of Greg Edwards, and several cars use the St. Leo University cone on the outside. That includes the 10 of Nick Smith, the 88 of Matt Bowling also up there up front. CE gets a good bite at the exit of turn number 2. Nick Smith, he's got a good race with Greg Edwards for that second spot. Nick Smith on the outside in the 10, Matt Bowling right on his back bumper, and the 33, Kenny Forbes. Up there in the good spot, dives on the inside of the 88. And Nick Smith back to the third spot. Greg Edwards mounting a challenge on CE Falk for the lead, trying to get him loose. 29 laps completed. Greg Edwards all over the back bumper of CE Falk for the lead. About 2 car lengths back, the 10 of Nick Smith. A side-by-side battle between Kenny Forbes and Matt Bowling, the 88. And the 34, Paul DeBolt, followed very closely by Wesley Falk. And on the outside, the 28, Brandon Butler. Then Danny Edwards, Jeff Oakley, Dean Shiflett, Shane Lockhart, the 95, working his way up through traffic. And Shane's got a fast car tonight. He's come from the rear of the field. Greg Edwards once again looks on the inside of CE Falk. If he can get to him, I got a feeling he'll give him a nudge. Here we go, between 1 and 2. Greg Edwards on the bottom of the racetrack, doing all he can to get by CE Falk for that lead. Right with him there, between turns 3 and 4, all over the back bumper, and again between turns 1 and 2. Greg gets as low as he can on the racetrack, trying to mount a challenge on 3-time Langley Speedway champion CE Falk. Greg's got 2 championships of his own, wants to get another one this year, and he's working on it. The 97.3, the Eagle car, and the Hampton Roads Toyota number 40, CE Falk. They've battled all year long. It's come down to the biggest race of the year, and they continue to battle it out side by side for the lead. This is what Saturday night racing is all about at Langley Speedway. Greg Edwards goes by. CE dives underneath to take the lead back, but can't make it happen at the exit of 2. Greg keeps the lead and now pulls away a car length and a half over CE Falk. Now make it 2 to 3 car lengths down the front straightaway. Wesley Falk on the inside of Paul DeBolt's number 34. Now between turns 1 and 2, Wesley's going to take that position away if he can, and that is for 6th. Danny Edwards following these guys, the 26, Danny's Glass ride. So after 36 laps, it's Greg Edwards, CE Falk, Nick Smith, Kenny Forbes, Matt Bowling, Wesley Falk, Paul DeBolt, Danny Edwards, Brandon Butler, and Jeff Oakley, the top 10. Here goes Danny making a move on the 34 of Paul DeBolt, trying to get on the inside. That is for 7th. Danny again working on the back end of the 34 of Paul DeBolt, followed closely by Brandon Butler's 28. Here goes Shane Lockhart making another pass. He is moving up. The 16. Jeff Oakley drops back to 11th after Shane Lockhart started near the rear of the field and has moved up to 10th position. 38 laps completed. Greg Edwards showing the way. He's got about a 5-car length advantage over C.E. Falk. Greg has 2 wins in his win column, but that came at the hands of a DQ for 2 races for C.E. Falk. But Greg would like to win it fair and square. He's in a good position to do it tonight. He's got the lead, 6 to 7 car lengths over C.E. Falk in the 40. Nick Smith back there in the number 10, 3rd spot, about 10 car lengths behind C.E. Falk. Then on his back bumper, the 33 Kenny Forbes. Matt Bowling, the 88 in 5th. Wesley Falk's 41 in 6th. Paul DeVault, 34 is 7th. Danny Edwards is 8th and 26th. Brandon Butler, 28 is 9th. Shane Lockhart, the 95 in 10th. As Chris Johnson again comes down pit road. Smoke comes out of the back end of the 20. A lot of smoke from Gary Weeks' automobile. And Peyton Sellers driving for the 55. And Mark Wirtz makes the move to the inside to get by Terry Carroll's number 90, Carroll's Automotive Machine. Then you got the 01. He's in the picture, Jeff Shiflett. Greg Edwards, C.E. Falk. The class of the field all year long. Now Greg's starting to put some cars a lap down. Jeremy Grogg. He goes to the outside of Jeremy, makes the pass. J.T. Jackson just ahead. He was involved in the spin earlier. Meanwhile, there is the 01 Curvin Orthopedic Machine of Jeff Shiflett making a move on Terry Carroll. Greg trying to be very smooth, very consistent, getting around that lap traffic. And now it is C.E. Falk who makes the pass on the 67 of J.T. Jackson. Danny Edwards having a good run tonight. Just outside the top 5. Back there in about 8th position, it looks like. Well, the lap cars coming into play just a little bit. For the top 5 drivers, Nick Smith able to get by Jeremy Grogg and J.T. Jackson, along with the 33 of Kenny Forbes and Matt Bowling's 88. Wesley Falk, he's in 6th. Paul DeVault, 7th. Danny Edwards is 8th and 26th. Brandon Butler, Shane Lockhart at the top 10. Then Jeff Oakley, Dean Shiflett, Gary Weeks, Peyton Sellers, and Jeff Shiflett in the top 15. Tight racing over here between 3 and 4. All over the back end of the 88, it's Wesley Falk. Wesley's got to win this year in that number 41. Two wins awarded to Greg Edwards, 1 for Wesley Falk, 1 for Shane Lockhart. 7 wins this year for C.E. Falk, who is in 2nd in this race. Tight battles right here. Almost thought about making it 3 wide. And Shane Lockhart not too happy with the 83 of Jeremy Grogg, who pulled up right in front of him when he was trying to make a move. Now he goes to the outside and gets by Jeremy. So the biggest mover of the race, it looks like so far, has been the 95 Shane Lockhart. He and the 57 of Eddie Johnson had to go to the rear of the field at the start of the race, but Shane has really worked his way up through the traffic and has one of the fastest cars as far as speed goes on the chart. We have 53 laps completed. Previous winners in the Hampton Heat 200. This is the 5th annual. Nick Smith, Woody Howard, and C.E. Falk. C.E. with 2 wins. Nick Smith with a win, and also Woody Howard. Driving from James Long, along with Nick Smith. And Nick Smith back in the 10. He's currently in 3rd spot in this event. Jeff Oakley, number 16, gets on the inside of the 67, who's gone a lap down, JT Jackson. Those drivers out of this event include Chris Johnson, Casey Wyatt, and Dwayne Shreves. Still a lot of smoke coming out of the back end of that 20 car of Gary Weeks. Looks like when he gets off the gas, that's when you see the smoke coming out of the back end of the 20 of Gary Weeks. Goes to the outside of JT Jackson. It doesn't look like it's affecting the speed of the car, but a little something to be concerned about. We've got 58 laps completed here at Langley Speedway. Bumping and banging here between turns 1 and 2. JT Jackson and Peyton Sellers got together. Greg Edwards showing the way. The 97.3, the Eagle ride up front, looking good. Our points leader, who leads Wesley Falk and Casey Wyatt. Casey's going to take a hit tonight in the points with that problem early in the race in this 200-lap event. Greg Edwards closing in on one of the best out here, Eddie Johnson. Eddie not up to speed tonight. Greg Edwards of Pocosin, 40 years old with 2 track championships. 97.3 the Eagle, Danny's Glass, CBX Modular Homes, Browers Mechanical, Crossroads Fuel, NC Realty, RaceWrap.com, helping out Greg on his Chevrolet. CE Falk remains in second spot in the 40. Champion in 2009, 10, and 11. The Hampton Roads Toyota dealers, Carroll's Racing Products, number 40. Also Acredale Vending, Von Zipper Sunglasses, Racing Electronics, and Clark's Automotive for CE Falk. Greg doing a great job working the traffic. And he's now got 2 cars between himself and CE Falk, and they were racing side by side. That's costing CE a little bit of ground trying to get underneath Eddie Johnson's number 57. CE all over the back end of the 57 of Eddie Johnson as Greg Edwards pulls away up in the lead. Now CE goes to the outside of Eddie in the 57. And there's about a 10 car length gap between Greg Edwards and the 40 of CE Falk, maybe a little bit more than that. 65 laps complete. There will be a break at the 100 lap mark for these guys for the Hampton Heat 200. This is the 5th annual Hampton Heat 200. Driver that leads halfway will get an extra bonus. Very prestigious race. Danny Edwards showing his way around the racetrack as to the inside, Brandon Butler makes a move on Danny Edwards. So does Shane Lockhart's 95 now between turns 1 and 2. Shane makes the pass on Danny. And a spin by the 10 of Nick Smith. Nick Smith, who was up there in the 3rd spot, spun around. Kenny Forbes was able to get by. But Nick Smith loops it on the back straightaway to bring out yet another caution flag on lap 68. A lot of front-end damage on the 26 of Danny Edwards. We were just talking about how Danny was doing good up there in the top 10. And now his car looks like it might be done for the night. Casey Wyatt is out. Dwayne Shreves out. Chris Johnson is out of this event. And now it looks like the 26 of Danny Edwards also out in the Danny's Glass 26. Over $32,000 in posted awards. $10,000 for the race winner tonight. Easy Auto and Newport News late model stock cars.
Mike Edwards was not out of his car yet down on pit road, but it looks like his night is done from front-end damage. Nick Smith's also on pit road for adjustments, and we'll let you know what those adjustments were here in a moment. Back up to you, Mike.
All right, thanks a lot, Russ.
And Mike, I now have Edwards with me down here on pit road. Tell us what happened, bud.
Well, I think it was car spun around on the backstretch and saw the caution light come on, and they called a caution. I was right behind the 95, and I couldn't see the spin actually. And I guess he must have started coming back up the track, and they locked up the brakes in front of me, and I ran in the back of the 95 and couldn't see anything. So just kind of pushed the nose back. It didn't hit real hard, but the way the bodies are, you can't really hit too much with the front.
So you guys are done for the night, right?
Yeah, it knocked the radiator out of it, so we're done.
Okay. Sorry for your luck. Danny Edwards out for the night. Back up to you, Mike.
They're just about set to turn them loose again in about a half a lap. Langley Speedway pace truck will take it down pit road as we'll have a side-by-side battle heating up once again as some of the cars have chosen to use the St. Leo University cone and go to the outside. And they're going to challenge Greg Edwards and C.E. Falk as we get back underway. Some of those cars include the 33 of Kenny Forbes, 41 Wesley Falk, 34 Paul DeBolt. And the 16 also chose to use the cone, Jeff Oakley. Greg Edwards taking over where he left off, but he's got pressure on the back bumper this time, closer and closer. C.E. Falk in the 40. Kenny Forbes, 33 is third. Matt Bowling fourth in the 88. Wesley Falk in the 41 in fifth. Paul DeBolt in sixth. Brandon Butler, Jeff Oakley, Shane Lockhart, and Dean Shiflett. Doesn't look like too much damage on the back end of the 95 of Shane Lockhart, where Danny Edwards, the 26, got into him. A lot of damage for Danny Edwards. He's out of this event. Paul DeBolt gets to the inside of Wesley Falk, makes the pass. He moves up to fifth position. Shane Lockhart dives underneath the 16 of Jeff Oakley to take over the 8th position on the back straightaway. Now between 3 and 4, side by side racing between these two. Shane Lockhart still has a very fast race car. So does C.E. Falk, who's looking to make a challenge again on Greg Edwards, trying to get on the inside of the 97.3, the Eagle car. It's lap 81. Little bonus at halfway. 82 laps completed. 18 laps to go until we get to the halfway point. Again, Greg Edwards being hounded by the 40 of C.E. Falk all over the back bumper that time between 1 and 2. Now in the back straightaway, still a great battle as they dive in between 3 and 4. Greg pulls away about a half a car length. A little bit of the light of day in between those two now. Kenny Forbes watching these guys. He's driving the 33 back in third spot. Matt Bowling, the 88, in fourth. Paul DeBolt, and a crash on the back straightaway. 83, Jeremy Grogg, and the 90 of Terry Carroll, it looks like, have gotten together and brought out yet another caution flag here on lap 85. A lot of damage on the 57 of Eddie Johnson. Eddie Johnson comes down pit road. Jeremy Grogg also, and Terry Carroll's 90 car sits on the back straightaway, all torn up on the left front. At Martinsville Speedway, the late model Super Bowl, and that is coming up October the 21st to Martinsville Speedway. C.E. Falk, you might have noticed he ran the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series a week ago and finished 29th. Also in the NASCAR Wheel and All-American Series National Top 500, C.E. slipped from second to third in the standings for the national standings. Well, the St. Leo University cone has come out, and they have waved off the green flag.
Keep in your positions. Don't stay in your positions.
Something is not right with the 90 of Terry Carroll, and something broke, and he's trying to inch his way back into the pits. A lot of sparks coming from underneath. Might have a fire, too, underneath that automobile. Let's go to Russ.
Terry Carroll came in earlier Lots of tape was applied to the car, but it doesn't look like they fixed all the issues. Lots of sparks from the underneath of the number 90 of Terry Carroll, and it looks like they're going to have a flat left front tire on that machine. The crew goes to work as we're about ready to be even busier on pit road here at lap 100. Back up to you, Mike.
Before Greg did last time by. 94 laps completed, 6 laps to go till halfway, and a $200 bonus from Carroll's Racing Products and Langley Speedway. Nick Smith is quietly working his way back up. So is the 95. Don't count him out yet. And that is Shane Lockhart. Oh, we do see some real lightning that time across the racetrack up there in the clouds. As we have the pace truck in. Trying to get a good clean restart. And we do. Back underway for the 5th annual Hampton Heat 200 on lap 95. Still seeing a little bit of smoke coming out of the 20 of Gary Weeks. Meanwhile, back up front, it is the 97.3, the Eagle car ahead of C.E. Falk, who slips at the exit of turn number 4. Kenny is going to take advantage of it. Kenny Forbes underneath in car 33, trying to take away the second spot from C.E. Falk. Kenny Forbes underneath the 40 of C.E. Falk for the second spot. A spin by the 16. Also, Gary Weeks gets a piece of this. The 83 also, as we have the caution flag out again. Gary Weeks with a torn-up race car. The 20. Also, the 16 got a piece of this. Jeff Oakley. 83, Jeremy Grogg. And 67, J.T. Jackson came to a stop. There is a bumper on the racetrack right there in the racing groove, so they'll have to get that and a few of the pieces of sheet metal off the racetrack. Greg Edwards has led the most laps in this event. The 97.3, the Eagle car. All right, a little confusion here on the front straightaway and with the officials, but the 55 has a little bit of a fire underneath the dashboard. That is the reason for the fire engine out there and those rescue personnel to make sure that the fire is out on the 55.
Picture Photos. That's P-I-C-Y-E-R Photos. Picture Photos online from Langley Speedway, the Hampton Roads Card Club, and Wacky Wednesday. Driver packages, sponsored photos, hero cards, 4x6 wallets, photos on CD. All orders over $25 get a free gift with purchase. View today's photos under the
Matt and the crew here from Racing for Hope Foundation with the check for $200 to Greg Edwards, your halfway leader. And we'll get a photograph there and talk to Catrice. If you would just step right over there for a photograph.
Catrice, run for your money. It's some awesome racing, but 100 more laps, bud.
Yeah, I mean, I was just halfway. I mean, me and him played around a little bit. We were kind of sizing each other up. And it seems like, the guy leading, if C can put pressure on me or put it on him, I can really free him up. Feel like I was doing it more to him than he could do to me, but it's going to make for a really good race. We're going to have to go back to riding a little bit now because now we're going to have 100 lap less on the cars, and I don't know what's going on with this weather, so man, I don't know what to tell you. We're just going to go and try to win this thing.
Is it going to be a soft first 50 and a hard second 50 group?
I guess that depends if I see raindrops.
I tell you what, good luck, Greg. Greg Edwards down here on pit road, about ready to get back into his ride. We're going to try to catch a word with CE before these cars get rolling back out onto the racetrack. Not going to take too much of his time, but CE, I tell you what, it was a fast run. Greg Edwards was out there giving you a run for your money, but it looked like you were also very fast and could take it.
Yeah, we had some stuff move on us, and just luckily we caught it halfway, so we could put it all back and beat this weather.
All right, CE, a man of few words right now, keeping all of his thoughts inside of his head along with his strategy. So CE Falk going to roll off pit road here in a second for 100 more laps here in the Hampton Heat 200. And now down here with Kenny Forbes, to tell you what, bud, cars were everywhere. It looked like it was a really hard fight, but 100 more laps to go, and the Heat's not slowing you down, have it?
That's right. We rode for about the first 75 laps there, and that last 25, we got to run on the inside on a couple restarts. Then with about 10 to go there, they let me go to the outside, and we figured we'd try to go for a halfway lead, but saw that wasn't going to happen, so we fell back and just brought it on in third for the first segment. Hopefully we got enough car to go win this thing in the second.
All right, Kenny Forbes about ready to roll back out onto the racetrack. Car number 33 listed in third.
All right, they've stopped all the work on the automobiles. And now they'll just get them lined up and turn them loose.
And thank you for supporting local short track action. It's NASCAR in your neighborhood. It's Langley Speedway.
All right, they line up side by side. They're about to turn them loose. Greg Edwards and C.E. Falk will be next to each other, ready to go. Kenny Forbes, Matt Bowling, Paul DeBolt, Wesley Falk, Shane Lockhart, Brandon Butler, Peyton Sellers, and Nick Smith in the top 10. We're back underway for the 5th annual Hampton Heat 200, lap 100. Greg Edwards on the inside, C.E. on the outside as they drag race down the back straightaway. And C.E. falls back in line in second. Kenny Forbes holds off Matt Bowling, Paul DeBolt, Wesley Falk, Shane Lockhart, and a big spin and crash over there in turn number 2. Greg keeps it off the wall. Caution flag is out. So you see the damage on C.E. Falk's number 40 on the front end. Greg Edwards spins and able to keep it off the wall. He is still in a good position to get back up there and challenge C.E. And the 40 will go to the rear of the field for aggressive driving. And 97, also, Greg Edwards will have to go to the rear of the field because he was involved in the spin. So, we're going to see these guys work their way up through the field. And here we go. St. Leo University cone is out. Who's going to take it? Paul DeBolt's going to give it a shot. Shane Lockhart, the 95, the 28. And Greg Edwards, along with the 16 of Jeff Oakley. They all choose to use the cone. Dean Shiflett, also the 12 car, he goes by to the outside. All right, here we go, lap 107. They're about to get the restart. Kenny Forbes, Matt Bowling, Paul DeBolt, Wesley Falk, Shane Lockhart, and some of the best drivers in the Mid-Atlantic right here at Langley Speedway, ready to go as the green flag is in the breeze again. Good restart for Kenny Forbes. Matt Bowling down on the inside, trying to take that second spot away. DeBolt on the outside in 34. Here goes Wesley Falk in the 41. He scoots underneath of Shane Lockhart's 95. Getting a little tight back here in the middle of 1 and 2 now. Greg Edwards trying to work his way back up through the traffic. So is C.E. Falk. Penalized for rough driving, goes to the rear of the field. And Greg Edwards on the outside of the 10 of Nick Smith. Just ahead of these guys, they're bumping and banging on each other too. The 28 and the 95 battling for the 5th position. Shane Lockhart, the 95, is in 5th. Brandon Butler in 6th. Greg Edwards trying to work his way underneath that 16 machine of Jeff Oakley. Meanwhile, back up front, Kenny Forbes leads. Matt Bowling, Paul DeBolt, Wesley Falk, Shane Lockhart in the top 5. Followed very closely by that 28 of Brandon Butler, Peyton Sellers in the 55, driving for Mark Works. Then you got the 12, Dean Shiflett, side-by-side battle with Greg Edwards down low in the 16 of Jeff Oakley. Slap 113. Side-by-side again between Greg and Jeff. Greg makes the pass with a 97.3, the Eagle car. It heads to put the pressure on the 12 now for 8th position, Dean Shiflett. Dean knows he's there down on the inside, gives him plenty of room. Knows he's got a faster automobile. 114 up in lights. Kenny Forbes leads Matt Bowling, Paul DeBolt, the top 3. C.E. Falk having a hard time getting back up through the traffic. He's right behind the 10 of Nick Smith in 12th position. Paul DeBolt seems to be holding up Wesley Falk, Shane Lockhart, and the 28. They seem to be a little bit faster. Brandon Butler back there in 6th. Shane Lockhart looks like he's a little bit faster than the 41 of Wesley Falk as Nick Smith dives underneath the 12 of Dean Shiplet and makes the pass. Greg's going to come with him, or CE's going to come with him. Greg just ahead of the 55 of Peyton Sellers in 7th position. Matt Bowling trying to close in on Kenny Forbes for the top spot, 33 and 88. And Wesley working on the back end of Paul DeBolt there that time between turns 1 and 2. Now closes in between 3 and 4. And the 95 is there as well. Shane Lockhart. Greg is there too in 7th, right behind Brandon Butler's 28. Looks on the inside to try and make a move and take that position away. That is for 6th. Greg Edwards now in 6th position behind Shane Lockhart. DeBolt once again gets a nudge by the 41 of Wesley Falk. He and the 95, Shane Lockhart, looks like they are a little bit quicker than the 34 of DeBolt. The cars had some good runs in the late model races all across the eastern seaboard, but seems to be a little bit slower tonight in the 34 with DeBolt. Tight battle right here between DeBolt, the 41, the 95. I think Shane Lockhart's about to lose his patience, trying to let Wesley make the move on the 34 of DeBolt. He's got pressure by Greg in the 97.3, the Eagle car. The Williamsburg Hyundai's got a fast ride, though. Shane Lockhart looking on the inside, and he gets loose at the bottom of turn 2. So does Greg. He gathers it back up just ahead of the 28 of Brandon Butler. And the 88, Matt Bowling, still having a great run tonight. He's about 5 car lengths behind the 33 of Kenny Forbes, who continues to lead. Lap number 1, 25, 75 laps to go. The 5th annual Hampton Heat 200. It's been exciting. It still continues to be that way as Kenny Forbes is looking for his first Hampton Heat win at Langley Speedway. Wesley can't quite make the move on the 34 of DeBolt. DeBolt seems to be chopping him down a little bit when he's trying to get underneath him. And you know what happens if that keeps happening? DeBolt might be going for a ride. Again, Wesley all over the inside of DeBolt. And again, he closes the door on Wesley. But he's stacking up the traffic behind the 34. Shane Lockhart trying to get on the inside. Got loose that time at the exit of turn 4. And DeBolt. It's like the slow car in the fast lane. Everybody wants to get by. And again, Wesley all over the back end of the 34. Gets him loose that time up underneath. Turn number 2. Now dives underneath. A little bit of contact made as they exit turn number 4. And again, I think Wesley's losing his patience. Here goes Shane down on the inside. Shane Lockhart and Wesley both make the pass on DeBolt. And Greg Edwards now dives underneath the 34 machine. And now the flood of cars will pass the 34. Man, oh man, he held those cars up, didn't he? 131. Wesley Falk now ahead of Shane Lockhart. That's back for 3rd, 4th, and 5th position for Greg Edwards. Brandon Butler, Paul DeBolt, Peyton Sellers, Jeff Oakley, C.E. Falk. Here goes CE down on the inside of the 16 of Jeff Oakley for the 9th position. And DeBolt held up those cars for quite a long time, which allowed the top two, Kenny Forbes and Matt Bowling, to pull away a full, almost half a racetrack away from those guys, racing for 3rd and 4th. Shane Lockhart now makes the move, makes a little contact with the 41 of Wesley Falk, and Greg is there too. These guys racing side by side. You know Greg wants to get by. Still has a very fast race car even after he got punted by CE Falk in turn 2. CE back there in the 9th position. Shane Lockhart trying to get by. Wesley Falk, they continue to race door to door. And this definitely is holding up the progress of the 97 getting by. Brandon Butler, Peyton Sellers, that's 6th and 7th, the 28 and 55. Lap number 137. Shane Lockhart, he was running pretty fast. Now he gets up to the inside of 41 Wesley Falk, and it's like he's hit a roadblock. Now he does make the pass, gets by Wesley finally. 16 was sideways. Nick Smith and Jeff Oakley getting into it a little bit, 9th and 10th position. Now Shane Lockhart's made the pass on Wesley. Wesley back in 4th, just ahead of Greg Edwards. It is Kenny Forbes, Matt Bowling, Shane Lockhart, Wesley Falk, and Greg Edwards in the top 5. Brandon Butler, CE Falk, Peyton Sellers, Jeff Oakley, and Nick Smith. Nick Smith gets by the 16 and moves up to 9th position. And now DeBolt gets on the inside of the 16 of Jeff Oakley, trying to take away the 10th position. And he bottoms out a little bit there on the bottom of the racetrack in turn number 2. It's lap number 142. Leaders of this race, 33 in the 88, and Matt Bowling is closing in on the 33 of Kenny Forbes as they start to work the lap traffic. Jeremy Grogg is there. So is the 61 Kevin Cunningham just ahead. And they're racing back in about 13th and 14th. Kenny Forbes now works around the 61 of Kevin Cunningham, maintains the lead over the 88 of Matt Bowling. Greg Edwards still in 5th position, trying to work his way back up. Wesley Falk in 4th, Shane Lockhart the 95 3rd, Matt Bowling is 2nd, and Kenny Forbes is the leader in car 33. And once again, a great battle between the 34 and the 16. Paul DeBolt and Jeff Oakley battling for a top 10 finish. "53 laps to go. And look at this. He made the move. Matt Bowling makes the move on Kenny Forbes, takes the lead away. Matt Bowling, new leader. Matt Bowling of Ridgeway, Virginia with AutosByNelson.com, Blue Ridge Tire Center, Bowling Logging and Chipping, and he is the man in the top spot. Matt Bowling leads Kenny Forbes, Shane Lockhart, Wesley Falk, and Greg Edwards. Leaders of the race closing in on a little bit of slower traffic. The 90 of Terry Carroll, the 01 Jeff Shiflett, the 12 of Dean Shiflett, and the 16 of Jeff Oakley. And that is 13th, 12th, and 11th. Greg Edwards led most of this race for the first part of it. He and the 40 of C.E. Falk had a few words on the racetrack, and C.E. gets into Greg, and because of that aggressive driving, had to go to the rear of the field. C.E. Falk now in 7th position after fighting his way back up from the rear. And C.E. just ahead of Peyton Sellers in the 55, Brandon Butler in 28 in 7th. Shane Lockhart, Wesley Falk, and Greg Edwards right there together. And that is for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But there's a big distance between themselves and the leaders, Matt Bowling and Kenny Forbes. '16, Jeff Oakley in 11th position, ahead of the 12 of Dean Shiflett in 12th. And you've got Jeff Shiflett. Terry Carroll, his car has been repaired a lot tonight. He's got a little bit of sheet metal hanging off of it. And also the 40 of C.E. Falk hanging off the right side of his automobile. They're trying to keep an eye on it. That thing falls off. That's going to create a caution flag and tighten up the field. And again, there it is on C.E. Falk's machine. We're keeping an eye on it. It's getting worse on C.E. Falk's automobile as that front quarter panel is peeled up a little bit. The front fender. Look at this great battle between Shane Lockhart, Wesley Falk, and Greg Edwards as the caution flag comes out for a spin by J.T. Jackson. This is what you've been waiting for. This is going to tighten up the field. It's going to get really good for the final 40 laps. And let's see who's going to choose to take it. 88 is your leader, Matt Bowling, then Kenny Forbes. Shane Lockhart's going to give it a shot. So is Greg Edwards, the 97.3, the Eagle car. Wesley Falk stays to the inside. So does C.E. Falk. Paul DeBolt behind the 28 of Brandon Butler. He chooses to use the cone. And so does Peyton Sellers. And the 16 of Jeff Oakley. All right, here we go. It's lap 165. The 5th annual Hampton Heat 200 back underway at Langley Speedway. The green flag in the breeze again from Shane. Top 4 cars right there together. Greg Edwards climbs over the back of the 95. A lot of damage on Greg's car as he got into the 95 of Shane Lockhart. He's slowing up a little bit. Up front, it's the 88 of Matt Bowling. And we got the caution flag out for debris in turn number 2. Greg Edwards stuck it in there, 3 wide, went through the middle, and ended up climbing on the back end of the 95 of Shane Lockhart's automobile. So you know there's got to be damage on the right front of the 97 car. Shane Lockhart does not choose the cone this time. Wesley does. Wesley Falk goes to the outside. Greg's going to stay on the inside this time. C.E. Falk chooses to use the St. Leo University cone and go to the outside. All right, let's see what happens this time. Lap 172, Matt Bowling in the 88. And on his back bumper is going to be Kenny Forbes in second. To the outside, it's going to be Wesley Falk in the 41 as the green flag is in the breeze. We're back underway. Gets a little tight again between turns 1 and 2. 33, Kenny Forbes down on the bottom of the racetrack as Wesley shoots to the outside and makes the pass. He takes over the second spot. Meanwhile, he gets a nudge, 33 does, from C.E. Falk, who takes over the third spot. Wesley all over the back bumper of the 88 of Matt Bowling. Meanwhile, a great side-by-side race between Brandon Butler down on the inside. Shane Lockhart to the inside of the 33, battling with Kenny Forbes. Greg Edwards gets a little bit of a nudge from Nick Smith that time at the exit of turn number 2. Back there battling for the 7th position. Wesley Falk doing all he can to make the move on the 88 and take the lead from Matt Bowling. Closing in again, gets into him a little bit that time between 3 and 4. Kenny Forbes down on the inside of Shane Lockhart, trying to take that 5th position away. And Greg Edwards with pressure by the 10 to the inside. Nick Smith. Greg's got a lot of damage from where he and the 95 got together. Side-by-side action continues. Kenny Forbes on the inside of the 95 of Shane Lockhart. He makes the move. Takes that position away. That's 5th. Looks like the handling on the 95 is going away a little bit. And they're going to black flag the 55 of Peyton Sellers with smoke again coming out of the back end of that automobile. And the black flag once again has gone out to the 55. Something smoking and on fire underneath the 55 of Peyton Sellers, driving for Mark Wirtz. And he's coming down pit road with a head of steam. And they will pop the hood and see if they can get that extinguished. Something definitely on fire on the 55 of Peyton Sellers on pit road. They'll get that taken care of. Lap number 182 up in lights. Matt Bowling holding off a hard charging Wesley Falk. C.E. Falk back there in 3rd. Brandon Butler 4th. Kenny Forbes having a great run tonight, still in the top 5. Shane Lockhart, Nick Smith, Greg Edwards, Jeff Oakley, and Paul DeBolt. Kenny Forbes, he's not out of this thing yet. Closing in on the back end of Brandon Butler, reeling him in a little bit for that 4th position. Meanwhile, Wesley Falk is not done with the 88 of Matt Bowling. He can taste that $10,000. So can Matt Bowling, the guy who's got the lead in the 88. Wesley is charging hard. Wesley Falk of Virginia Beach, 23 years of age, Avalon Fishing Pier, Acredale Vending and Coffee Service, Raced Electronics. Matt Bowling, that 88 machine, he would love to get a victory here at Langley Speedway, and this is the perfect one to do it. Ridgeway, Virginia is where he's from. AutosByNelson.com, Blue Ridge Tire Center, Bowling, Logging, and Chipping. Staying ahead of Wesley for the moment. Lap number 187 up in lights. And C.E. Falk is there too. He's in 3rd spot. Brandon Butler with a great run again tonight in 28, and Kenny Forbes remains in 5th. Shane Lockhart, the 95-6, Greg Edwards, 7th. Jeff Oakley is 8th. Nick Smith, 9th. Paul DeBolt in the top 10. "12 laps to go, make it 11 this time by." Does Wesley Falk have anything for the 88 of Matt Bowling? And the caution flag is out for a spin by the 83 again, Jeremy Grogg. Jeremy takes a spin over here at turn number 4, right before 4. And this is going to tighten it up again.
Peyton Sellers, looks like the back end of the transmission broke off, and that's going to be the end of the night for them. after a small fire was put out from underneath of the cockpit of the number 55 machine. Peyton Sellers out of the race.
8 laps to go here. Lap number 192 as Matt Bowling goes by. C.E. Falk is going to try the outside. So is the 28, Brandon Butler. Greg Edwards stays where he is on the inside of the racetrack. The 16 is going to try it on the outside, Jeff Oakley. So is Nick Smith and Jeff Shiflett. Go ahead, Russ.
Just a quick update, Mike. Just spoke to the crew of Matt Bowling, the number 88. They said he is very, very quiet on the radio, and that only spells confidence. Back up to you, Mike.
All right. He's definitely in a good spot to get a win. As we have 7 laps to go, Matt Bowling will lead the field. And here we go again. On the outside, it's C.E. Falk. He chose to use the cone rule. He loses a little bit of ground to his brother, the 41 Wesley Falk, shoots underneath C.E. Falk to take over second spot. Right behind these guys, they're battling out 3 wide in between 3 and 4. And cars climb over top of each other. Shane Lockhart, he makes contact with the 34 of DeBolt. Nick Smith with damage. The 16 has damage also. That's Jeff Oakley. Big crash on the front straightaway and a lot of damage on Jeff Oakley's number 16. 34 DeBolt, he's got a lot of damage. So does the 95 of Shane Lockhart. And Shane Lockhart, he's been a pinball hitting, been hit by everybody out here tonight, it looks like. And they're going to jack his car up and see if they can get him back out for a strong finish, or at least to finish the race. And there's the 16, the Oakley Logistics. Number 16, Jeff Oakley. JT Jackson gets his lap back. C.E. Falk's going to try it on the outside. Brandon Butler also going to give it a shot using the St. Leo University cone. So is Dean Shiflett and the 10 of Nick Smith. He's got a lot of damage on his automobile. And Jeff Shiflett in the 0-1. So it's lap 200, but it will be a green-white checkered. And who's it going to be for the victory? Matt Bowling, hoping it's him in the 88. He's got a big challenger on the outside. That's C.E. Falk. Wesley gets a little bit of a bump as they get back underway. All right, here we go. 88, Matt Bowling. Here goes Matt Bowling. 1 lap to go. Final lap of the race for the 5th annual Hampton Heat 200 at Langley Speedway. And Matt Bowling looks for his first Hampton Heat 200. The 88 wins. Matt Bowling over the 40 of C.E. Falk. Wesley Falk, he finishes in 3rd. Brandon Butler in 4th. And Kenny Forbes in the top 5. All right, Greg Edwards and the 40 of C.E. Falk, they got together a little earlier in the event. Greg still not happy with the 40 of C.E. Falk and came up and let him know about it too. Well, there he is, Matt Bowling, the winner of the race. He's going to celebrate a little bit too. Matt Bowling of Ridgeway, Virginia, AutosByNelson.com, Blue Ridge Tire Center, and Bowling Logging and Shipping for the 88 of Matt Bowling. Great job and a great victory. C.E. Falk, he finishes 2nd. Wesley Falk 3rd. Brandon Butler 4th. Kenny Forbes in 5th. Greg Edwards in the 97 in 6th. Dean Shiflett 7th. Nick Smith is 8th. Jeff Shiflett is 9th. Shane Lockhart in the top 10 in the 95. And Shane had a rough night tonight, but a good top 10 finish. Kevin Cunningham 11th. Paul DeBolt was 12th. JT Jackson 13th. 14th, Jeff Oakley. 15th, Jeremy Grogg. Terry Carroll in 16th. Then Peyton Sellers, Gary Weeks, Eddie Johnson, Danny Edwards, Chris Johnson, Casey Wyatt, and Dwayne Shreves. Let's take it down trackside. As 88, Matt Bowling celebrates a little bit Let's go to Russ Wiles. He's going to get a word with our top 3 finishers before we get to victory lane.
Wes Falk still climbing out of his machine down here just outside of victory lane. As Reverend Potter hands him an ice cold water. Wes, it was a strong run, came up short here tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if the 88 doesn't know the restart lines, but he jumped like every restart. I was right with him. I don't know what his deal is. He just jumped, and jumped. I tried getting an official to point it out, and no one wants to listen. Oh, well.
All right, Wes Falk going home third here tonight in Hampton Heat 200. Well, I just walked right past you, CE. Coming up short here tonight, not going to grab the next one. It's not going to be tonight, coming up second.
Yeah, we, I don't know, we didn't have a very good first half. We had a lot of stuff move on us, and we had a great car to start second half. They said I jumped the start, which, I've been jumped on the start all year. The green was out, and he was slamming on the brakes trying to, keep me ahead, and I just went with it. So, and then they called and said, oh, get behind the 97. So I got behind him, and I got a run. He got loose, and I dove it off in there, and he just hung a left on me. So, it's just racing. He both came back, and, we both came back from the back and came back to the front. And, we got two EF Motorsports cars and top 3 here. But congratulations to Matt Bowen. He's working really hard, and he really deserves it. He's a phenomenal driver, and he's going to be getting better. And got to thank CallsRacing.com and Hampton Toyota dealers and great people at Langley Speedway for having us every week.
Good run on your second spot. And the number 40, CE Falk, going home just shy of victory lane. Making our way over to Matt Bowling, ladies and gentlemen, your winner down here in victory lane. Matt Bowling wins your Hampton Heat 200 at Langley Speedway. Matt, hell of a run, brother. That was awesome.
Man, I can't believe it. This is my second win ever, especially to come to a tough place like this and beat CE. And man, I can't believe it. This is awesome to bring home 10 grand. Man, I'm in disbelief, man. But I can't thank all my crew enough. Sellers Racing, HC Sellers, my crew chief, my dad, Kowalski Motors, Hedgecock Racing Chassis. Trying to think if I left anybody at my sponsors, Blue Ridge Tire Center Autos by Nelson. Man, I just can't believe it.
Well, tell me, your second win as a late model driver, I tell you what, and it has to be so special for it to be this race here tonight. Langley Speedway, such a big crowd. It was, it was the biggest race this year. I mean, how does it feel to just be here in victory lane for this race? Did you even think it would happen?
Man, for some reason, I felt really optimistic about this weekend, and I thought we had a good piece, and we struggled a little bit when we unloaded, but I think we got something figured out, and we got a little lucky with C and Greg getting into it, but it just worked out for us. You got to be there to get it. So I'd like to thank all my crew, just everybody, man. This is unbelievable.
The last and golden question, what are you going to do with all that money?
I don't know yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Matt Bowling in victory lane here at Langley Speedway for the Hampton Heat 200.
All right, Mike, before we send Matt off and the champagne flows down here in Dell Emmons Victory Lane. Whoa! And he's safe. All right, we think it's almost safe. Some congratulatory hugs from CE Falk, the trophy presentation and the check presentation after we feel like it's safe down here. We got all the kids here from our friends at the City of Hampton. There's your winning trophy. Make sure he's okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the check presentation, the Vice Mayor, George Wallace, and Councilman Billy Hobbs with the check for $10,000. Hampton Heat, our 5th annual, 4 different winners. Step right up there, guys. And I saw Bill Wallace somewhere. Sally, congratulations. Another great race. And the photographs continue here in Victory Lane at Dell Emmons Victory Lane.